Hey guys, here I am. I'm getting ready to have to make some roofing for a project I'm working on in G-scale. And I was going to show you how I make the corrugated roofing. There's some out there to buy, but this is cheaper. I got plenty of cans in the recycling bin. Anyway, what I'm going to do is get ready to make the roofing itself. A good tool to do it with, down at Michael's, I found this. It's from Fiskars. It makes corrugated paper for scrapbooking. Anyway, it works great with aluminum cans. What you have to do, you have to cut your metal to the size you want, because once you corrugate it, you know, if you don't have your metal nice and square, it won't go through there right, and it's really hard to cut once you have it corrugated. Anyway, what I do is I start off with just go to the recycle bin and grab some cans. You can usually the size I'm making. This is a little bit big. I'm making a 2 on a G scale, 2x6 piece of corrugated sheeting. Anyway, this is not long enough to make a 2x8. 2x6 will fit inside there. But anyway, I just go get my aluminum can. If you look down an aluminum can, you can see where they've been painted, and you can see a line. It gives you a good straight line to cut down. I have gone as far as and used the large scissors to cut, and it's pretty easy to do. You just have to start up here and bite it with the scissors and then cut around. But if you have access to it, I have a bunch of banded shears. These real small ones work a lot better. You can cut there and cut right down that line very easily. Also, on the Coke can, there is a nice straight line all the way around the bottom. If you can cut around that bottom, it makes it a lot easier to square it off when you're actually making your individual sheets. So what I'm going to do is, but you can see how easy this cuts, and it's almost like paper. And see, now you come back and it's got that little crimping at the top. You just want, and this top side don't make as big of a deal as being totally straight, because once we cut this down, we'll use that bottom side as our square edge or our straight edge. Okay, now you have a sheet of aluminum. Okay, and these are pretty easy to do. Anyway, well, I'm gonna get the rest of these cans cut, and then we'll go over and I'll show you how I cut them into individual pieces, and then we'll go into corrugating each individual piece. Okay, here we are getting ready to cut it into individual sheets. What I've done is on my paper cutter here, and this is thin enough stuff. I've cut some thick plastic with this for, so it's an X-Acto brand cutter, and it works fine. You can do it by hand, but you just need to mark off your stuff, but this is a lot faster. What I've done is I've marked this off for a 2-foot wide sheet. I made the marks at a 1 1/4, because once you crimp it, you're going to lose some of your width. And then I made it just right at 3 inches long, so it's like a 1/2 inch to a foot. Anyway, we made our straight line was down here by following the bottom of the can. We use that as a straight line along the back. So we're going to stick that in, push it up against the back here, and just clean off this edge. Alright, once we clean that edge off, we're coming back in here, and we're going to put that back line that we know is pretty straight, and putting it on the 3-inch line. Make sure you got it nice, and keep this pulled over and tight, and you'll cut that off. That gives us our 6-foot long or 3-inch long piece. I've also come in here and like I said, the 1 1/4 inch line, I bring the piece in and we just cut. That gives you your 2x6 inch piece of aluminum, 2 foot by 6 foot in scale aluminum. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut a couple of these real quick. It's a lot faster than using scissors. I cut my first ones out by hand. Okay, so out of that one can, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ended up with 6 pieces of the corrugated. Well, what we're going to make is corrugated sheeting. Now we'll come over here and use our little corrugator. All right, now what I do is I get this set with one hand. You need to squeeze it really tight. Like I said, this thing's made for paper, and we're going to take your piece of aluminum and use the clean side end, and you want to try to get it in one of these grooves down here. And I just hold it with my thumb, and then I start working it, and because it's got a ridge there, and it'll lock that aluminum in. And what I do is I get it in there, and I just kind of wiggle it, just to make sure I got my cramps in good. And then you have corrugated sheeting, and it even kind of fixes it with this width and everything, fixes it with a lip here that will fit over. Well, let me do another one real quick. Okay. If you look at this, cut it a 1 1/4 inch wide, it leaves a nice lip that overlaps. The first one's down, it looks just like the corrugated sheeting does. And it also, you got a lip here that fits up perfectly. Now, like I said, this is starting out, these are 1 1/4 inches wide by 3 inches long. All right, this makes almost perfect corrugated sheeting. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get all this done, and then I'm going to show you how, if you want to make a really old looking sheeting, how we go and do that. Okay, here we are. I've got all this sheeting done. That's, like I said, 4 cans worth. That's what, about 24 pieces. You can see here what 6 pieces does. That's probably a what's that, about 3, it's a little over about 2.5 by maybe 8 inches long, something like that. It's going to take quite a few cans to do a whole roof. Well, yeah, it's about 2 by 8 is what it ends up with. Anyway, inches. Okay, now this is all nice and clean sheeting. If you want to, we can etch this and make it look older. Now this doesn't have anything on it, no weathering, anything like that. You can see here how the ends are eaten away. What I've done is, you take your sheeting and just how many ever pieces you want on it, if you want to do it all or what. But anyway, find you a plastic container, and we'll set those down in the container. You'll get them flat as you can down in the container. And then go to Radio Shack and get their etching solution, PCB etching solution. Now this is full strength. Let's see, it's got a part number on it. Yes, 276-1535. 276-1535 is their product number. Anyway, you're just going to take this, and if you had a flatter bowl, it would be easier. I'm just trying to use, you take this and pour it in, and you want just enough to cover the sheeting you're using. Now, what you got to do, it says agitate, so what you got to do is I just got a popsicle stick, and I just kind of make sure I work the stuff in between, get all the sheets kind of pulled apart a little bit, make sure I got the solution in between. It'll start to bubble. Now, slow at first. That first set I did over there, I actually walked upstairs to get a cup of coffee and came back down, and it had eaten it almost all the way some of it. I mean, you may want it that thin. You can see that's see-through, and it had eaten one of those totally away. So you really need to pay attention, because once it starts cooking, it cooks off pretty fast. And what you have to do is you have to remove the sheets from the solution and just wash them in water to stop the chemical reaction. So I can already hear these cooking off. Like I said, a flatter container, you may use less of the solution, but I mean, it had eaten it up so much on the first, it made just a matted mess down in the bottom of this container. So anyway, I'm gonna get these, let these get etched a little bit. I'll show you what they look like when I get done, and you can see that it's bubbling down in there now. It's just it's a ferric acid solution. So anyway, I'm gonna get these done, come back and show you what the final product of those look like. Okay, here you can see what it's starting to cook off. I got to pull it out of here real quick. I just want to show you what it'll do. So you got to pay attention and start working really fast with it. So I'm gonna get this out of there. So I just want to show you. Okay, here we are back with all those pieces that we have just I got through going through the photo etch stuff. I hope you can see it. You get different variations. You can see right through that piece. A lot of these. There's a lot of smaller holes, and it looks like a good weathered old aluminum. Now we still have to paint it and put the weathering chalks on it and everything like that, but you can see how it has just etched different places. I mean, all these have got little fine holes all through it. It looks like it's been on a building for years and years. So you can also, if you just want the tips of the ends done, take like a glass jar and put your solution in and stand them up in there, and it'll just do the ends of it. That's according to what look you're looking for. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna finish up. I need some more roofing to finish the project I'm doing, so I'm gonna go ahead and get a lot more of this done. I'll move along and then weather this and show you what the end product looks like. But if you really want to age the aluminum really fast, this is a quick way to do it, and it makes it look really nice and old. So I'm gonna get this, let it dry, get it painted, and we'll move along from there. Okay, after you get your aluminum cleaned off and the way you want it, then you need to go ahead and prime it. I use like a Rust-Oleum primer. You need to do one of two things. Find a gray primer if you want to leave a little bit of it where it has some of the gray look to it. Or in my case, I didn't realize it, but I had a white primer and I primed it. But mine's going to be all rusted, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, once you get that done, you want to go ahead and prime all of it. After you prime it, if you don't want to wait 24 hours or 12 hours for that, for your primer to get good and set, so you can use the Flow-Quill roof brown, I went ahead and used the Polyscale roof brown. And what I did was, I can't find the bottle, but anyway, I used the Polyscale roof brown, and I painted all of the roofing a roof brown. That gives you the old rusted color look. Anyway, you want to get it all painted well. It took 2 coats to get rid of all the primer where you could see through it at all. So I've got 2 coats of that on there. Then I just happen to have the Doc O'Brien's weathering powders. I got those from Micro Mart. They had them on big sale on them recently. Anyway, I'm mainly working with the Rusty Red, the Muddy Brown, Muddy Brown, and that's a Rusty Brown. But what I've done is I've just taken the powders. This is going straight on top of the Polyscale roof brown, and you just want to give it a light coat. And I've got these on tape so I can brush them. Anyway, I brush that in. And that looks awful red, but that gives you an undercoat of the color. I take the powder and dip it off and then put it off into the lid. so you don't get as thick, and you can just dab it in the brush. I'm using an old makeup brush, so either my wife or my daughter threw in the trash. I found it. It works really well. It was in good shape. It's a real small short bristle brush, and you can really press into your whatever you're working on. And each thing can be a little bit different as far as your color, whatever you're looking for. That's awful red to me, but I come back with the muddy brown, and it really tones it down. And you rub this one in, and you get that slight red underneath, but it gets rid of most of that bright red. It's just a red, rusty look underneath. But you can see, hopefully you can see how the ends have really, you can really see how the ends got eat up on that, by that acid solution. Hopefully, I think you can see. But let's see here. You can see how the ends got eat up a little bit. I've got some that I have done that are even better. I mean, you can see through it. And these will make it look really well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these done. I've got all the parts, they're drying now, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the rust on all of them. That way we can just piece them together as we go, and they don't all have to be the exact same. And you can, change up your colors on a couple of them to make them look a little different. But anyway, I'm gonna go get the rest of these done, and then I'll be back and we'll go through the putting some of them on my building. See how they look when we're done. Okay, we got all the pieces weathered. I'm starting from the bottom and working my way up. This is a barn. It's actually a fascia of a barn that's going to be up on my modular layout. It's going to be towards the back, so it's only about 2 inches wide. So anyway, I'm starting here at the bottom. I'm using 5-minute epoxy to put these on, but you can go through and choose these the way you want, however you want to look. I did paint. I started out with a gray, and the gray's not dark enough, especially when you're looking through the slots, the holes in it. On a real barn, you wouldn't see gray unless it just happened to be on one of the slats. So I went ahead and painted it a black. And all we're doing is, these things fit with the 1.25 inch wide that they are. They just turned out to be perfect to come in here and fit on top of each other. And so I'm just gluing those on one at a time. Actually, I glued the first 3 on all at one time, if you get the glue on there and hold it down right. But I think I'm going to start going one at a time. It's a little bit easier to hold in place. But anyway, we're just going to start working our way up to the top. You can go back and reapply other weathering powder, more weathering powder if you see it needs to be, the colors are not looking right for you. But we can just continue on up the side here and just all the way up the top. And that gives you a good, very rusted roof. And like I said, if you choose, you can go back with the aluminum, the aluminum color on your, heck, you could even put one in there like you had a replacement or something if you use a little bit better one, or however you wanted to do it. But anyway, I will get this whole thing roofed, and I'll show you what my final product looks like. But mainly, I just wanted to show you how I did the corrugation and painting and all this other stuff. So make sure that you should, if you're using acid wash to get this stuff, you need to do it outside. That stuff, once it starts, it cooks off really fast, and it makes a lot of smoke. You don't need to be breathing it. And but anyway, I'll be back, show you the final view of this, and we'll be back. Okay, here's a last look at the barn, well, the fascia of the barn. Anyway, I got all the tin put on it, and you can see I even put a piece that may have been a replacement piece. It's not totally weathered. Now, you can do your cap strip different ways. My grandfather's barn right up the road, they just took the tin and bent it over, so I just did that. I didn't want to make a piece to fit over it. But anyway, it all fit up good. I did the 5-minute epoxy. if I got it too thick and the epoxy came through any of the holes, I just took the weathering powders and brushed them in. You can lift these edges, but you know, I know how we do my grandfather's barn. We keep it nailed down pretty well, the best we can. Every now and then you'll get a piece up. But anyway, that's the way I did it. I hope the video helps. I couldn't find one on YouTube anywhere, so I figured I'd do one real quick. Y'all have a good day.